Good morning. Yeah, today I want to talk a bit about habits. Yeah, habits is, obviously that is a big topic. I want to look at it through the lens of learning. How does learning really happen? What are the, yeah, what's the environment that is most conducive uh, for learning to be joyful and yeah, and also reasonably quick, because we have this dilemma, I think, and that's where it ties in with habit. Of we have these two poles of slow and steady wins the race, and all in, like jump in the deep end. And what does really work? And I guess it's not exactly the same for everyone, but one thing I've seen again and again over the years, yeah, accompanying so many people on their learning journeys, whether it's languages or climbing or swimming or whatnot all. Every person seems to come into a process like that, obviously with expectations, but also with a certain kind of um, yeah, stamina, but also tolerance for how much he or she can take before the mind comes in and says, you know what, this is not working. So in my mind, there has to be an experience, and the sooner the better. An experience of I'm actually moving. I can see improvement. I'm experiencing improvement. And if that doesn't happen, if that experience doesn't happen, then in my experience, the person sooner or later will drop it. The ego will come in and be extremely convincing um, and suggest this is the wrong time, it's the wrong person, it's the wrong setting, and maybe even the wrong thing. I didn't really want to do that to start with. The mind becomes incredibly creative. So, in my mind, it's very crucial to have that experience. Another picture that I have is like to get a foot in the door as soon as possible. Yeah, somebody's testing his engine back there. I'm just going to pause a little bit. Yeah, because otherwise, very soon we ran out of steam. Yeah, and then typically, even though the mind will say, yeah, I didn't even really want it, it wasn't important to me, the mind will downplay the whole thing, but the experience will get added to the accumulated pool of I didn't make it. And most people that I've worked with, they have a big bag full of those experiences. And that's why oftentimes I've told people as well, you know what? If you're not ready, if you're not able right now to meet, yeah, if you have this expectation to do the necessary to meet that expectation, then rather don't touch it. Rather don't even start. No? Because if there's a mismatch, this is the expectation and this is the energy that we put into the process, talking about linear learning processes, then that's a mismatch and it's going to lead to frustration. Yeah. Now, the way I see it, if that paradigm can be flipped, yeah, if the paradigm of, you know what, learning takes a terribly long time and I have to do this for years and years and probably I won't even succeed anyways. If the experience can be there of, wow, I'm actually moving, this is different from things I've done in the past, then I consistently see people's face lighting up, yeah, the eyes opening, the whole face kind of opening, and then there's an element of curiosity and joy and the feeling of actually I want to do more of this. And that's for me the moment where, yeah, if you imagine you're an airplane and you're on the runway and you accelerate, right? There's a moment where the airplane takes off, but it only takes off if the acceleration is enough. Otherwise, otherwise that airplane will be cruising on the runway back and forth and never getting the experience of flying. So I guess most people would agree that the flying is really joyful and that's the fun, and being stuck on the runway is not so fun. And that's the catch-20. That's the, yeah. How do you say? That's what I said about getting a foot in the door. How do you make the plane take off? Because it's kind of a leap of faith. And once it's taken off, then it's just about keeping the momentum. Just keep flying. Just ride the wave, or whatever picture you want to take there. Now, when it comes to linear learning journeys, since I've done that so much with myself and with so many other students, in my mind it is very, very clear how that works. And I've been sharing that passion because my actual fascination is to see learning happening in real time in people. I think that is my actual fascination. Yeah. And there's so much beauty when curiosity and openness and playfulness come back. Now moving on to something which is not necessarily a linear learning journey, like learning an instrument or a language or running or you name it, but it's more like a spiritual thing, for example, where it's not really predictable. It's not like you put in this many hours and then this is going to be the outcome. I find that is even more tricky, because there is no guarantee. You can only kind of set the stage. You can kind of cultivate a ground and create the most favorable conditions for it to happen, but you can't make it happen. Yeah, I once heard somebody say any mystical experience is like an accident, and the only thing you can do is make yourself more accident prone. And I found that that's quite accurate. And I guess it's also similar when it comes to emotional states, because those you can't really, you can't force them into being. They can shift, but and I think this is the main thing that I want to share here now, because now looking back over the last, on the one hand, the last 9 years dealing with this disease, but also having embarked on sharing this journey, in this way, I've just seen in myself, since I've been doing consistently the things that I've promised myself I would. The meditation every morning, every evening, and now I'm roughly doing an hour in the morning and in the evening. At least once a day the Qigong, and that's now taking about 20 to 30 minutes. And it's beautiful to see that actually this is meditation in movement. The stretching has also moved on from like 10 minutes more to 20 minutes, and I see how range of motion is increasing. The eating between 10 and 5, and I see very clearly it's very essential for me to stick to 2 meals and to leave enough gap in between the two, so that the stomach gets completely emptied and my system sends me a signal of, hey, I'm actually ready to receive food. If I don't, then straight away I get nausea again. So doing these things, the only thing I haven't managed consistently is my stopping meditation. I just keep forgetting this alarm, because otherwise it just slips my mind. And it's a beautiful thing, if you haven't heard me talk about it, is set a little timer and then just stop for 10 seconds. Don't even try to meditate, just stop, don't do anything, and just enjoy peace. 10 seconds is so short that the mind can't possibly say, I don't have time for this. And it's also, it's quite easy to stay really present and to just let it all go for this amount of time. Yeah, so what I've seen by really doing the things that I've promised myself I will do, and doing it especially first thing in the morning, since I wake up so early anyways, I do the meditation when it's still dark, and then my time here on the rocks, the stretching, the qigong, and making the video and all the rest of it, that is my time before I do all the other things. And once it's like 10 o'clock, well then I engage with other things. But I've already nurtured me. And I think in this way I'm sending myself consistently also the signal, not by talking, but by doing, but just by action, that this is the priority. This is first. This is my first and foremost responsibility, my relationship with myself. And once I've nurtured that, attended to that, then I can attend other things. And it's fascinating to see how things like self-respect, self-trust, self-love, all these things, it's like filling up a bucket or a cup or whatever picture you wanna take. And I've seen that so many times in my life, but it's so beautiful every time that I want to share it again. The moment this is noticed, there comes a point where it's very natural that we wanna share it with others. We want others to have that same experience. And this is my message today. If you feel that there's something that does you, that has a healing or inspiring or regenerating or whatever effect on you, but you feel like, I actually know this, but I'm not doing this, then internally you are in a state of conflict because you're actually acting against better knowing. And then the question is, okay, what do you need? What kind of environment do you need to create in order to act according to what you know? So I invite you to either do something similar, do your own journey, or you could also just drop a comment, just announce here, from now on, from today on, I'm going to do this one thing, or these 3 things, and whatever it may be, whether it's, who knows, eating habits, or sports, or playing music, or dancing, or making art, or I don't know what it is for you, but to make it very clear, because I think if it's not clear, then probably it's not going to happen, because it seems to me that nowadays everyone is just completely swamped and overwhelmed by this overabundance of information. Everyone's in a state of overwhelm, and unless you're very specific about it and choose it deliberately, most probably it's not going to happen. I think that's it. Let me know if you have any thoughts on this. And it'd be beautiful. I think, like, for me, the fact that I'm able to put this out there is a support for me. If you find support in putting it in the comment and just making an announcement there that, hey, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna keep you posted on what I'm doing, beautiful, by all means go ahead. Or if you want to work with a coach or somebody that you know, but there has to be, I think for most people, there has to be some kind of accountability, some kind of feedback tool, mechanism. Alrighty, that's it. Have a beautiful day.